Hello guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you've never seen me before, my name is Ohemaa Bonsu and thank you so much for clicking to watch this video. But if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. And yeah, so today I have a different video compared to a makeup tutorial. Well, I guess it is a makeup tutorial. I have a makeup tutorial for you guys, but it's not an eye makeup tutorial. So let's get to this video. Okay guys, so I figured that since I've been uploading more eye look videos and skipping the foundation part of the video, I decided to do a makeup foundation routine video for you guys so that you can see how I'm doing the foundation part of my makeup, because I am using the same products and I feel like just using the same products over and over again gets repetitive and boring. So I'm just going to show you how I do it, and if ever I get a new foundation or a new product in, I will then go ahead and do a separate review for that. But this is going to be my official foundation routine video. So let's get to it. Okay guys, so I am going to start first with a moisturizer. What I usually do in the morning is after I go through my morning routine and my face gets washed, I go ahead and apply a moisturizer. Lately I've been using the L'Oreal Revitalift face lotion, and it is my mom's, but I've been stealing it, so I really don't know the details on that, but I actually like that because it has a reddish tint after you put it on your face, and I think that helps mask any dark marks or whatever you have on your face. I mean, it doesn't completely cover it, but it's actually a really good face lotion. So now my face is already moisturized and I don't have that product to show you guys today. After my face gets moisturized, I will then use a primer. The primer you use is up to you. If you are oily skinned and you know that you're going to be in a place that's, I guess, slightly warmer than normal and you want your foundation to stay on and you don't want to get too oily, you can use a mattifying primer. And the mattifying primer I've been using a lot lately is the Ordinary High Adherence Silicone Primer. And that's this one. I'm pretty sure it's almost done, but we'll just go with it. And you can put that all over your face. But there are other primers that you can use, but I've been using the Ordinary primers lately, so that's what we're gonna use. Or if you want a more dewy finish, then you can use a dewy primer. And the primer that I've been using that's literally almost done is the Ordinary High Spreadability Fluid Primer, and that's this one. Okay, so today I'm going to use the fluid primer because I am going to be using a really mattifying foundation. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and spread this with my hand, even though my hand isn't working properly and I can't really move my wrist. What you want to be doing when you're applying your primer is to make sure that you push it into your pores. That way, if you have any pores that are bigger than normal, it will get filled in so that your foundation will look beautiful and flawless when you actually apply it to your face. Today, I am going to be trying out a new highlighter, and I'm hoping that it will come through really nicely, so we will see how that ends up. But I'm going to be using the Bitter Lace Beauty Rewrite the Stars highlighter, and I have pictures of it standalone on my Instagram, so if you want to check it out, you should definitely do that. But we will be using this highlighter today, so I'm going to apply some of that highlighter in the places on my face that I feel I'm going to highlight later. I want to have a glow to my skin without having to apply highlighter to it. So I'm going to apply this all over my face. So the tip for the foundation is to just make sure that when you're applying your foundation, you don't put too much on the outer parts of your face, because that way when you're blending it, it can blend out. If not, then it looks like a mask because you just stopped at one line because you have too much foundation on the perimeter. What I usually do is to bring my foundation in the middle of my forehead. That way I can blend it out. And I like blending the Fenty Beauty foundation with a brush because I feel like it helps move the foundation a lot quicker, and that way it doesn't set and dry before you are ready to before you finish blending everything out. I am the shade Cappuccino in the NYX concealer, and I like to use the shade C16 in the Makeup Revolution concealer. So when I'm applying concealer, I like to apply it in sections. I know there are people that like to leave their concealer on their face for a little bit before they blend it out because it helps set and, I guess, mold to the skin temperature. But I don't think you need to leave it on your face for too long, because with the NYX concealer, just like the ColourPop concealer, if you leave it on your face too long, it will dry and set and you will not be able to blend it out. So I like to just apply it and immediately start blending. So when I blend out my chin, I like to blend it outwards, because every time I blend it in a spot, it always ends up not looking really beautifully blended. So just blend it out, and of course the majority of the product will end up exactly where you want it. I use the Juno & Co. Micro Fusion sponge, and this sponge is supposed to have the technology that doesn't absorb your product. So whenever you're using it, you have to use slightly less product than you would if you were using a beauty blender or a Real Technique sponge or any other foam-based complexion sponge. Okay, so I also just make sure that your sponge is damp, even though with this sponge you can use it damp or dry. But I like to use it damp because I feel like it I guess it works better with the skin if it's damp, not wet, damp, okay? So now that this is done, I'm going to go ahead and contour my face. And I've always used the Koiboka contour sticks. Well, before she had sticks, it was the contour pans, and they are cream contour. And I know a lot of people don't like cream contour, but this is the best contour I have found that I can actually use, and it will show up on my skin. I have two of those over here, and this is the shade Onyx, Icon, and this is the shade Onyx. Onyx is slightly brown, and Icon is a blackened brown shade. So what I like to do is to use Onyx first, and if I feel like Onyx is not enough, then I will go over it with Icon. So I'm going to use Onyx and contour the face. Don't usually put any on my jawbone, but it's something that you can do if you feel like your jawbone is not popping enough. Of course, I have gained about like 100 pounds. About 100 pounds, so I need my jawbone to pop a little bit more, but I feel like my jawbone is more pronounced than, I guess, the average girl, so I don't really need to make it stand out even more. So that now that I have applied it, I like to use my Juno & Co. contour brush, but it is super dirty right now, so I'm going to use my Micro Fusion sponge to blend it out. And when I'm blending out my contour, I like to use the side of my sponge because it is slightly angled and it's straighter over here. It helps keep the contour exactly where I want it. So I use it at an angle like this, and I blend it out. The contour to be deeper, you can all go ahead and add the darker shade. And if I do that, I only put it in a really... Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and set my concealer, and if you haven't seen my video on powders to use for dark skin tone that actually complements our skin tone and not make us look ghostly, I will put that at the end of this video so you guys can click it after this so you can see the different types of powders that we can use. For me, I'm going to be using the Ben Nye Chestnut Powder. And I have that in a container over here to make it easier for me to use. Oh, There's something in my eye. It's a technique for you to actually use your concealer to help contour your face. And what most people do is they will put some of the concealer right below their contour. That way it makes the contour stand out more. So I can go ahead and do that for you guys. I think I've done this. I always just put a little bit just like that. That way I'm not overusing it and having to figure out a way to blend it. And then I use the side of my sponge once again to blend that out. Contour is the way you want it. You can make it as sharp as this side, or you can make it as blurred out as this side. It all just depends on how you want it. Then eventually you will find the kind of style of contour that you like, and you just go with that. I have a Ben Nye Ebony powder that I am going to be using to set my contour areas. But for now, I am using the Koi Boca Classic Setting Powder in the shade Deep. And this powder is really deep to where if you are lighter than me, then you will be able to use it as a powder contour. But I like to use this to set the contour, and I think that the shade actually helps mute the ICON contour if you feel like ICON is too dark for you. I also use it to set all the way across my forehead, and I use it to mute that line between the contour and the concealer. Because I get really oily really quickly, especially on my nose, I apply the concealer all over my nose, and then I set it with as much powder as my nose will take. I'm going to go ahead and contour my nose. Nose contouring, I use my setting powder from Koi Boca Cosmetics, and I like to do this because I feel like if I use a regular contour, it comes out too dark and too harsh for me. So I take an angled blending brush and I take some of my powder, and I then go ahead and contour my nose. It's like really intense. See that? It is really super intense. So I bring this contour from my eyebrow and only halfway down my nose. This actually makes my nose look really contoured. So when this is done, you blend it out as best as you can. I take my beauty blender, and I just blend everything together. I even blend it over the light part of. You blended it. If you feel like it is too harsh for you, you can take the sponge that you use to apply your powder. I just blend it over. At this point, if you feel like you want the middle part of your nose to stand out more, you can go ahead and apply some concealer right in the middle of your nose. I go ahead and set that concealer. Okay guys, so I'm going to apply some blush, and I'm using Ori from Masquerade palette. You can use any color blush you want, and how much blush you put is also up to you. And I'm applying the blush right above where we did the contour. I'm going to apply some of my deep face powder right below my lips. That way it makes my lips appear a little bit more powdery. Okay, so at this point you can go ahead and highlight your face with any shade highlighting you want. I am going to be using the Makeup Revolution Curl Lights in the shade Savanah Nights, and I actually like this because it has enough pigment where it doesn't look so crazy on my skin tone. And if I only use a little bit, it actually complements and makes everything look really beautiful. So you can go ahead and highlight your chin. And then I highlight my forehead. As if it's not shiny enough, right? For the middle of my nose, I'm going to use my very tiny brush, and I'm going to just put some right here. Okay, so I'm going to put some of our Rewrite the Stars, just a little bit, over top of my T-zone highlighter.
You gotta know I'm all yours. But when I say what's that about, you start slurring your words. Tell me why you have to seem so distant when I'm holding you. Your fingertips are drifting away, and I fucking love how it hurts. Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you always leave me?
Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you will subscribe down below, and I really hope that you will share my videos with your friends. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!